simply put, mobile is awesome. There's a lot about mobile that makes it really awesome. But I think if you add cloud to it, that's when it becomes more awesome. So one of the other aspects here that we can leverage is this concept of unlimited computing. I talked about that a little bit before, where we have just a little bit of computing on the device. When we leverage the cloud aspect of mobile, then we can get more computing. So I thought it might be cool to show some examples, and we'll do that a little bit later in the presentation. Of course, we have unlimited storage. Storage is getting cheaper. The storage wars are happening. Google is at war with Amazon. The prices go down dramatically. iCloud provides storage for iOS developers. Your apps can have unlimited storage and unlimited processing power if you can focus on leveraging these turnkey cloud systems. Another thing just to point out here that I think adds value to this whole stack and that's important for application developers is the network effect. So simply stated, the network effect says that a network becomes more valuable, in fact exponentially more valuable, the more nodes you have on the network. Mobile devices add a network effect to a lot of the services that we see today that are very popular, Twitter, Facebook, and services such as those. But the network effect of mobile has changed our behaviors as well. And so I think when you're thinking about your solutions, when you're thinking about your applications, you've got to take into account what's the network effect. Can I get more people on my application? I've got an example of an application that includes cloud, mobile, and an accessory that's leveraged the network effect in a cool way that we'll talk about a little bit later in the presentation. But the networking effect can increase the value of your applications, can increase the value of your solutions tremendously, and of course that comes from the cloud. There's lots of devices out there and accessories for devices. This is one of the other markets where you can make money. I'm sporting one of these Nike Fuel Bands. Has anybody ever heard of these? They're brand new. Can't buy them in stores yet. We were at South by earlier in the week and over the weekend, and Nike had a booth down there, and they were selling these devices. So what this particular device is, it's a personal fitness device. It tracks your activity level. I don't know if you can see that. My activity level for the day is 4450. It's a fuel rating that the folks at Nike have come up with that somewhat arbitrary, but it's based on my personal fitness level. It's based on how much activity I have during the day. Am I doing steps? Am I doing something else? And it tells me, how I'm doing fitness-wise over a period of the day and over a period of weeks. It also shows the time and has a bunch of other interesting features. So I think devices like this are really interesting because it works in conjunction with my iPhone. Nike has a really awesome application, the Nike Fuel application. Let me see if I've got it real quick here. Nike Fuel Band application. And when I want to synchronize my data to the phone, I just hold this little button down. And now a Bluetooth sync is going to occur, and my activity for the day is going to synchronize to my device. So it's telling me, hey, good job, you hit your goal. Little pat on the back there. There's some gamification going on. And then tying that network effect in, I want to see, I think I probably beat Brad today. Let's just check that. I click on Friends. And the interface update. Brad, it looks like we had you for the whole week so far. What? So, you're in third place, actually. You're behind Eric even.
Eric even?
Anyway.
Let me see.
You better sing. I'll save that update. So can you imagine a world, we couldn't imagine a world like this 2 years ago where we could do important things like compete with our coworkers on fitness. Because we have this special Nike Fuel Band and the cloud and mobile devices. I just bring that up to make a point. I actually think the Fuel Band application, everybody should download it and check it out. It represents to me a lot of the best practices for applications that we see in our practice. All of the stuff that we're talking about here today, gamification, network effect, cloud storage, instant access to information, application are kind of represented in that application. Nike kind of knew what they were doing when they put that together. So I think we've covered mobile plus cloud. What does it look like? It represents a complete experience. So a few things for you guys to consider as you get into thinking about designing your applications and creating gamification and creating experiences where people's digital assets are in the cloud and they can access them on the device or on the computer or over the web. As you think about your businesses, as you think about your applications, you need to be thinking about how does the data flow? Where should the data be? It's an evolution for a lot of people. I think even Apple has evolved that. One of the most useful features that they recently did with iOS 5 and their new desktop operating system was capability for photo stream. Now when I take a picture on my mobile device or any other camera and I sync it to my computer, all those pictures are up in the photo stream in the cloud. So I can get to any of my photos on any of my devices. That's an example of workflow of data that you've got to think through as you think through your application scenarios. Now, if your application is a consumer application, you're going to have a different workflow for data. But one of the things I would say is that consumers simply will not tolerate loss of data. I will not use a mobile application that stores my data only on the device. Some of my favorite mobile applications ever know. There's an awesome application called Day One for journaling that was done right here in Utah. Those applications sync your information up to the cloud, and you can look at your information on a computer or on a tablet. And that's useful. Those digital assets, if you're going to take the time to write a note, if you're going to take the time to do a journal entry, the last thing you want to have happen is jump in the swimming pool with your iPhone in your pocket. That's something I've personally done. And just lose everything, right? So think about that as you guys think through your business scenarios and think through your application scenarios. Where are you going to put your data, and how are you going to leverage the cloud to make it good for customers? So just one example here, maybe two. At Moki, we did a project for a very innovative company called Apigo. Apigo has one of the top productivity applications called To Do. And they were one of the first groups to get a to-do list onto the iPhone. To Do had some great sync capabilities, but Apigo wanted to increase that when they released To Do for iPad. They wanted people to be able to sync their to-do lists and their organizational information across those two devices. And they also decided that for their business purposes, they really wanted to have a web interface. So we worked closely with Apigo and created a solution called To Do Online. And this was all before reminders came out. But at the time, I think it was one of the most innovative solutions for task management across mobile devices. What To Do Online did was it made it so that if you had tasks on one device, they'd sync to the cloud, and you could go look at them in a web browser or look at them on your tablet, or even on your home computer, you could look at them there too. So that's one example, a very simple one that we did. And one of the things I want to point out is, I can't talk numbers, but this activity of synchronization created an additional revenue stream for Apigo that was significant. Now that they were providing a sync service and providing a way for people to back up their information, people were willing to pay them more. And not only did they just pay the one-time $5 app download fee, but they were willing to sign up for a subscription. So there may be a potential of additional revenue models for you as you look at moving your data and your processes into the cloud off these mobile devices. Another one that we did, this one was a product for a company called Equinox. Equinox does accounting for truckers, to make it perfectly simple. You can imagine the accounting nightmare for an independent trucker who's hauling a big load for some corporation, and he's getting gas and having service done to his truck, and he's got a bunch of receipts in a shoebox maybe, and he's got to get that to his account, he's got to get that figured out. We created a solution for Equinox for their customers. They provide an accounting service for these truckers that enable these transportation pros to take pictures of their receipts and have some processing happen, and their accounting was done before they even got home from a trip. So that's just an example of kind of a B2B workflow that makes sense with cloud plus mobile. So just finishing things up here, I know we have a little bit more time, and maybe we can have a discussion and ask some questions. I just want to say what a privilege it is for us to be able to present at a conference like this. Our viewpoint of the world is we're in the post-PC era. Cloud makes mobile really awesome. I think that we're very early in the whole experience so far. Even though there are 500,000 applications out there, every day customers come and talk to us about things that make sense to do for their customers or for their employees that is interesting in mobile. I also think that mobile is creating some emerging opportunities, some things to do and some ways to make money that we haven't seen before. We're seeing iPads replace cash registers. We're seeing iPads to some degree augment what people can do in their jobs, like in the hospitality industry. An iPad correctly deployed with the right information in the right application can help a concierge help someone find a better restaurant. We're seeing professionals get access to their information, updated information, quicker. Everybody from doctors and all kinds of professional types of jobs are starting to leverage these devices to get access to training materials, to compliance information. So in our world, we see a lot of this, and we're very excited about it. And we're also interested to know what's the development community in Utah up to. From Moki Network standpoint, we feel like we have an abundance mentality. There's a lot of opportunity out there. And if there's